Good morning, y'all, on this beautiful, blessed day. So on episode 2 today of Cooking with Cody, I finally came up with a name. We're going to make buttermilk biscuit gravy. We're going to make the gravy for the buttermilk biscuits. So you can make it with or without sausage. You can use any kind of sausage. I'm going to be using ground turkey sausage. Okay, so that's what I use. And whenever you use a really lean meat like turkey or like ground chicken, you really want to add just a little bit of extra butter to it. And I'm going to show you why. So what we're going to start with is I'm going to get this pan turned on 5. It kind of has been heating up a little bit. And I like to use cast iron skillet. I got some dog hairs in there trying to attack. So I like to use a cast iron skillet whenever I do this. I just feel like it does a lot better. It just does a lot better. And much easier to clean too afterwards, believe it or not. And so I like to use a half of one of these tubes. And this is, let me see. This is I'm trying to find out how much it weighs. Okay, this is a 1 pound tube of ground turkey, of ground sausage. So any kind of sausage. I use turkey. So I like to use a half a pound each time I do it. All right, so what we're going to do is we throw it already on the hot pan. And we're just going to take it and just break it up. Just going to tack it. This is a great little recipe. My mom, when I was young, she used to always make biscuit gravy. She would make it without sausage, and I never really liked it. And then once I started making my own and kind of living on our own, I started making it with sausage, like you get from I don't know if around where y'all live, if y'all have Jack's or anything like that, but we have Jack's, and so they have sausage gravy and regular gravy for your biscuits. Oh, it's the best place ever. If y'all haven't been to Jack's, y'all need to come here. It's a thing from the South, so really cool restaurant though. Also, if you want to know how to make the buttermilk biscuits, here's some right here. I made these up yesterday just so I'd have some. Beautiful buttermilk biscuits, so it'd be easier for me to do this. Normally, whenever you do this all at the same time, it's easier to have 2 people. And so what I'll do is I'll be making up the biscuits while Victoria starts the sausage. And then by the time I finish the biscuits, I can start helping her with the gravy some. Sometimes the gravy can get out of hand. You definitely don't want it to thicken up too much. And see, what I'm always doing is I got my eye right here set to 5. So on mine, that's medium. So a good medium temperature will be just fine. And so I like to kind of chop it up. You want to get it as small as you can. Really attack that stuff. Do not be afraid. You want to make it really small. Take it. I like to flip it. Give it a little flip. And so, see, this is super easy because the only things you really need for making this kind of gravy is you're going to need some kind of sausage. You're going to want some all-purpose flour right here. You're going to want some all-purpose flour. Okay, and then the only other thing you're really going to need is milk and some seasonings. You season it really however you like it. Really, it's called peppered sausage gravy, so you're going to be putting a lot of pepper in there. Just regular old pepper. I'll show y'all what seasons I put in there, so you'll get an easier kind of idea. Something to start you off with. You can see how you like that, and then change it up to taste, obviously. And so since my biscuits today, they're already pre-made, I'm going to let this sausage get going a little bit, and right before my gravy is done, I'm going to throw it in this little convection oven that we have right here. I actually think I'll go ahead and preheat this little thing to let it get so it'll be good and hot, so it'll be ready. And I'm just going to put them on 350. Normally you cook these biscuits when you make them fresh at 400. So I'm just going to go a little bit lower than what they would normally be cooked at. I figured that'd be good. Okay, perfect. And so what you're going to want to do is you're going to really want to make sure that this sausage right here, this turkey sausage, or whatever sausage you're using, you're going to want to make sure that it gets good and brown. You don't want any pink to be in the sausage. You want to first go ahead and get it good and brown. Keep it moving. You don't want to burn it. You don't want to have that weird burnt taste in your gravy. If you burn the sausage, it's going to be weird. I just don't like it when it's burnt. Maybe some people do. I don't know. Get it real small. Smaller you can break these up, the better. It's going to help that sausage cook a lot quicker too. And see, before I'll show y'all, but before I put the biscuits in, I'm I'm going to melt a little bit of butter and put some butter over the biscuits whenever they're warming up, just to kind of help them moisten them back up, get them where they're good again. And so you can kind of see, I got it pretty small. It's a little bitty. We're just going to really make sure we get all that pink out of there. We don't want any kind of, we want it to be done. We do not want it to be not done. And you can kind of see as I'm cooking here, this sausage that I'm using, this turkey sausage, it doesn't have a lot of fat in it. It's not very fatty. So you won't end up with a lot of grease in your pan, okay? And see, whenever you're making gravy, you want to make a roux, is what they call it. And what it is you use the grease in the pan or whatever kind of oil that you're using. You know, I'm gonna add a little bit of butter to this, and you're gonna add some all-purpose flour to it. And so what that's gonna do is that's gonna create like almost like a thicker. It's gonna really thicken up that grease that you have in the pan. It's gonna use that grease to kind of make the gravy, and then it'll be your base of the gravy, whatever kind of sausage grease you have, and then that all-purpose flour. All it's gonna do is just really help to thicken it up. You're gonna cook that all-purpose flour. You want to make sure that whenever we're adding it, that you let it cook for a couple minutes before you ever add any milk. Because see, milk is what's going to be the bulk of this gravy that we're having. A good breakfast gravy is going to have milk. Now, you can use different kinds of milk. Some people they say only use whole milk. That's the only thing you can use. I don't really do that. Whole milk tears up my stomach. I have a really sensitive stomach. Okay, so what I use is 2%, I think. I'll have to check. It's the blue cap. And so I use that. Some people also like, and I'll even do it sometimes. I don't have any buttermilk right now because I used it all yesterday to make the biscuits. I need to get some more. But sometimes I'll add just a little shot of buttermilk in there with my 2% milk whenever I do it. But today I'm not going to because I just don't have any. So I'm going to take this little butter knife. It's a little dirty. I used it to put butter in here for the, I don't know if you can see that, but for the biscuits. I'm going to melt that. So I'm just going to take a little slither, a little piece like that, add it to it. Maybe a little bit more, just because I want to. Okay, so I'm going to throw that right there. Put this in the sink. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to get this butter melted in here really good so that it's all melted in there. I'm just going to take my flour I got right here. And what I'm going to do is you can measure this if you want to. Oftentimes, I just do it by hand, but I'm going to show y'all some kind of measurement just so you'll have an idea. So this is a tablespoon. Pioneer woman, she's cool. I'm going to throw one of these in there. That quite didn't all go in there. Throw another one, kind of a hefty spoonful, my bad. So I usually do about 3, maybe 4. Perfect. All right, close that up. Now that that's ready, we're just going to take that and we're really just going to mix it in with it. And while we're doing this, once we get to this step, I go ahead and lower it just a little. It was on 5. I kind of just bring it down to 4. If your oven, or stove rather, doesn't have numbers on it, just go for like medium low. You know, that's what you want to shoot for. And so see, I kind of eyeball this a little bit. See, like now that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, that, you know, it just looks really dry. Still working. Just got a little bit more butter to it. Just so I can get that flour really incorporated. That butter is really going to help to get it where it really soaks up that flour that we got in there. And see, you'll notice too, if you ever try this without sausage, that just having the butter and the flour in there actually creates like this really like thick, almost kind of not really syrupy consistency, but it really like it gets thick. Like it gets thick. It thickens up that butter a lot. And something that's even better to use is if you don't have any type of food preferences or anything, using like something like bacon grease that you've saved, that is an excellent thing to start a roux with. And so I'm just going to keep breaking it up. Notice that I'm just working that flour into that sausage, trying to get it where it's thoroughly worked in. And that's also in the process of, it's also just cooking the flour, because you don't want to eat raw flour. That's also going to be gross. It's going to make your gravy taste really funny if you don't give it a second for that flour to cook and keep it moving and mixing it into that sausage. It's essential. We're having a very late kind of, I guess you could call this brunch, really, because we actually woke up around 8 or so. But we watched a little TV, done a little reading, ate some ice cream really for breakfast. Sorry. But that's what you can do if you just want to. So, okay, and I'm thinking that right there looks pretty good. I don't know if you can really tell the difference, but you can really see how that is a lot different from what that sausage initially looked like. I've really worked that flour into there. That butter really helped get that flour to soak into everything and really mix it in there. So now that we got that done and we're looking good on that, I'm just going to kind of spread it out in a thin layer. Let it get a final little cook on it before I add the milk. And so, yeah, I was right. 2% reduced fat. So some people say without the extra fat content that it won't really thicken up as well as you want to, but I promise you it will. You'll really see. And so normally, once again, I really don't measure this most of the time. I usually just throw it in there. But I'm going to measure it just to kind of give y'all an idea of how much I'm going to use. So this is a 1 cup container. And I spilled some. And so we're going to throw a cup in there. Okay, we're going to throw another cup in there. See, I usually do it really by like ice, like I eyeball it sort of. And if you notice, the dog's coming to lick up the milk, so that's good reason to have a dog in the house. If only she'd sweep the floor. Okay, let's see. Now we're going to go off with that many. I think that was 3 cups. Y'all will be able to tell me, or I can watch it back and also see. Excuse me, pup. Okay, got a little bit of sausage on there. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to take that and just keep it mixed in really good. We're going to lift that sausage off the bottom of the pan and get it just kind of worked into that gravy. And you can see how thin it is. It is so thin right now. And so it's going to start out really thin. It's going to take a second. You're going to take a moment before you can really get it going. And so once you get that mixed in, I'm going to go ahead and bump the temperature back up to maybe about 5, in between 5 and 6 is what I'm going to do, because I wanted to have a little bit more heat. Okay, and so over here, I got some of this mixed peppercorn medley. It's got the red ones, the green ones, blue ones, purple ones. I don't know what color they are. They're brown, white, all kind of different ones. It's got white pepper, red pepper, all kind of stuff just in it. So what I'm going to do is I just give it a really fine, I make it on its finest setting, twist it all the way down to its finest setting. And then I give it a good little roundabout on top with this pepper. A little fine pepper. Now you may think, oh, this is way too much pepper. No, it's really not. Because it really helps season up that milk. Because that milk's got a really soft, mild taste. And so it's really going to give it some spice to it. So I give it a good little roundabout like that. And that's good. And then same thing with the salt. Iodized salt. I recommend to use iodized salt. It's not a lot of food you can get iodine in. So I like to make sure I get iodized salt. We also do have pink Himalayan salt, which we use a lot of times too as well. But I don't believe it's iodized. I don't think it has iodine. Okay, so I'm going to use just a smidge of basil, smoked paprika, red pepper flakes, a little bit of ground mustard, not very much, just a little. I'm going to use some garlic powder and some onion powder. Okay, so that's what I'm going to season my gravy with. That's what I like to use. You can definitely find out other things that you may like. It's all up to preference. Okay, it's all up to preference. And so the way that I like to do it is I keep this thing stirring. You really want to keep this thing stirring. You don't want to burn the milk. You do not want to burn the milk. And see, if you're afraid of burning the milk, just turn down that temperature a little bit. If it freaks you out having to keep it stirring so much, just turn down the temp a little. That'll help it to where you ain't going to burn it as easily. But turn that temperature up, keep it moving, you'll get it done a lot quicker. Okay, so basil. I'm going to add just a smidgen. I'm talking about just a little overlaying like that. Not very much. In between each thing, I like to try to mix it a little. So I kind of like to get it stirred in there a little bit. Get it good and incorporated. Now we're going to go with smoked paprika. Not much. I gauge it sometimes by doing a half of it. See? Other time, light dusting all over. Go with a half. Good heavy dusting. Also, I'm kind of doing it by the color because, see, like something like the paprika is really going to change the color of this gravy. You know, it's obviously going to make it a little bit more earthy in color, a little bit redder, a little bit browner, you know. So I kind of gauge it like that as well. And see, I couldn't really tell you an amount of this. Heavy boil like that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it down a little bit just so I don't accidentally burn it. So I'm going to add a little bit more. Red pepper flakes. Not much. I'm talking about just that. I'm not going to add a lot of that. You want it to have a little bit of spice to it, a little bit of bite because it's peppered gravy, but you don't want it to be so hot that nobody wants to eat it. Clean that off. Okay, ground mustard. I'm only going to use a little bit of it. It's a really good season. It adds a lot of good flavor. Just a smidge. I'm talking about just a little. And see, that's going to change your color too of the gravy a little bit. And so I'm kind of gauging all that. That's what I'm really looking for is a good color. You want it to be a good off-white. Once again, keep it mixing in between each seasoning that you add. Every time you add a seasoning, just keep it mixed up. That way you're not burning it. Perfect. Okay, garlic powder. I'm going to make sure I have it open on this side because there's been times before where I've accidentally opened it on that side. And oh my gosh, the gravy is not good when you dump a bunch of anything in it. So I'm just going to do a light little dusting, a little circle of a dusting. Nothing crazy. Mix it in. And also look forward to our next little long form series. We're going to try to do a little podcast where me and Victoria just talk about our lives and how Christ has affected us and how Yahweh and Yeshua have come into our lives to really change our relationship, and how even from the time whenever I was in the 11th grade, she was in the 10th, we started reading the Bible together and learning about the Bible, learning how we should treat one another. And that is really what built the great foundation that we have for our relationship. That really has led us rocket into just joy. I mean, me and her just have so much fun. It's incredible, y'all. I would encourage anyone who's having any struggles in their relationship to really encourage their partner. Hey, look, let's go ahead and build us a strong foundation in the Lord Jesus Christ. He is the way, the truth, and the life, and there's no other kind of way you're going to have a good relationship without putting him center in your life for both of you. So wives, take your husbands, husbands, take your wives, and let them know that that is important to you. And that it is it's going to have to be a big thing in a relationship, or else I guarantee you it's just not going to work out. And I only know that because Christ said so. And so looky here. This is getting really good and thick. It's looking good. You see how thick that is? That's excellent. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little splash of milk. Just a little splash of milk. I'll mix that in there. That'll help thin it up so I can let those seasonings cook for a little bit longer. Let them mingle in the gravy a little bit longer. That'll be great. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some of this. This is another little pepper shaker we have. It kind of spits out a little bit bigger pepper. I like it. I'm going to add just a little bit of it just to add me a little bit more pepper because you want to have it peppery. It's pepper gravy. So that's the biggest thing. So now that I got that other milk in there, I'm just going to kind of mix it in a little bit so that it can try to incorporate some of those spices into there and get that taste really popping. You'll really taste it if you let it really get it to mingle. Okay, now that I got all that mixed in, I'm going to turn that temperature down to, on mine, about 3. That's what I'm going to shoot for. Okay. So I'm going to take these biscuits. I don't really understand why this microwave does that. I'll try to get it started and it'll say food. And I'm like, what does that mean? I don't know. It acts up. Okay, so I'm going to melt this butter right here. Hopefully nothing crazy is going on. Get this thing started back up. Now that it's a little hot for me, it should be good. Me and Victoria probably aren't going to eat 400 of these, so we'll probably eat 2 each. And so that gives us one that maybe she can eat tomorrow before work or something. That'd be good. Have her a little jelly biscuit or something. So now that I got that going, I'm Mix this up a little more. Remember, we want to really keep it mixed up. Don't want to let that stuff get too thick. Perfect. I'm still going to turn it down just a little. It's kind of hot. Got a little melted butter right here. I put this in here before. Okay, so what we're going to do is just add a little bit of melted butter to each of the biscuits before we put them in there. That in there. Bam. I'm going to put them in there for about 5 minutes. I think that's what I'll do. We'll say 5 minutes should be good. Sounds perfect. And while I'm letting that cook, I'm going to go ahead and grab just a little bit more milk to throw in this because I don't want it to get too thick. But it's okay because milk is good. It ain't going to be bad if it don't just cook up like crazy, and it definitely will. So I'm going to add another little splash of this milk just to keep it from getting too thick on me. And see, you may be scared. Oh, no, I added too much milk. It's too thin. No, don't worry. It's going to be all right. It'll thicken up. It's going to thicken right back up. Looking good. Hey, Victoria, baby, are you ready to eat? Yeah. All right, perfect. Well, it's almost done. So just get ready to eat our little brunch, breakfast, lunch, biscuit and gravy. And see, yeah, you can use the packets. You know, they got packets that you can buy that, you know, they're gravy, you know, just like this, and they got a little bit of sausage in them or whatever. I think McCormick makes one or something like that. And you just add water to it. Okay, those are all right, but I'm guaranteeing you right now, y'all try this recipe, you will learn that this is way better than any kind of gravy packet you're going to buy from Walmart. Looks amazing. Okay, now I'm just going to turn it up just a little more because it could be a little hotter. Why not? Ain't gonna hurt nothing. And we'll let it sit there and we're gonna let it finish up. And that's done. I'm just gonna let that kind of keep mingling together. The biscuits are almost out. When I get those out, I'll plate it up and really show y'all what this turns out looking like. It's just amazing. I just love it so much. Victoria will gobble it up like crazy. Little Silas in her belly. He's probably got him a plate down there just catching some. He's probably really loving it. So praise the Lord, y'all. Thank y'all another. Oh, I just thank him so much. He just makes a way where there's no way, y'all. You know, and so me and my wife, we're having our first child. We're trying our best to do what we can to try and, you know, having children are expensive. I ain't going to lie. And so we're trying to do this. You know, I'm working at my current job. She got that job helping with the life insurance, doing that, selling to people. She actually got me on there. So I'm going to start trying to do that after work. First, I got to pass the licensing exam or whatever. But between doing the insurance licensing, my full-time job, as well as trying to do videos like this, doing the shorts for y'all, we're going to try to start a podcast. Lord willing, I know that he'll make a way where there's no way, and it'll all work out just perfect. I thank y'all so much for coming and seeing me. I'm going to plate this up and everything before we leave. The biscuits are almost done, so I'm going to turn it up just a little bit more, just so I want it to be piping hot whenever I eat it. I don't want that stuff to burn me. That's what I want. All right, y'all. We got these really cool plates right here. This lady we actually used to do landscaping for. These were a wedding gift for her, like back in 1950 something. And she gave them to us. We shouldn't have put them in the dishwasher. We're terrible humans. I think that's why that right there got taken off, but they were really pristine. Okay. Heated up biscuits right there, looking amazing. Perfect. All right, y'all. So what we're going to do is take us a fork. These are hot. Oh, my gosh. And we're just going to stab into them. We'll make sure the center is pretty warm. Yeah. Remember, these are just reheated. I'd made these yesterday for us because we just love some biscuit and gravy. So maybe we're fatties. I don't know. Okay, y'all. So what we're going to do is take this. I'm going to mix it up a little bit. And we're just going to gravy those jokers. God, look how good that looks. Oh, and it smells amazing, too. I love the way that biscuit gravy smells. I usually go with 3 little plops on each one. On each plate, I go for 1 over the biscuits. 1 over each biscuit. And I give it 1 little plop in the middle. And look, Lila thinks that she's getting some. I don't know if y'all can see her down there. I'll let her eat the rest of this. I don't know if that's terrible or not. Maybe I'm bad, but They deserve some. They'll both get some. They're good dogs. All right, y'all. And once again, thank y'all so much for coming and visiting with us today. This is going to be episode 2, how to make biscuit gravy, sausage biscuit gravy. And if y'all want any more recipes or anything like that, let me know. I'm going to do some things that I just know how to do. I'm also, my sister's actually coming over tonight. She's bringing steak for me to cook for them because they actually really enjoy the steaks that I make on a cast iron skillet. I'm going to use that same one as well. I'll clean it, obviously. But so if y'all want to know how I do my steaks, or if y'all want to know how I make salmon, or how we do our rice, or anything like that, I can show y'all a bunch of different things. I also used to work at a little mom and pop's pizza place, so I know how to make a lot of different like tossed pizzas and stuff. And I can make like rolled out garlic knots that you cut and chop and tie into a knot, or I could do like homemade cinnamon rolls and show y'all how to do those. So there's just a bunch of different recipes that I know. I actually really love cooking. I watch a lot of old Mr. Gordon Ramsay. I'm definitely no chef myself or no professional, but it's just a really enjoyable thing to do. Me and my wife, we love to cook. I love cooking for her. It's just a blessing, y'all. I thank y'all so much again for coming and seeing us on this episode. It's such a blessing being able to do this, and that God has afforded us the opportunity to even be able to put out videos like this to y'all. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 views, I don't really care. As long as somebody is benefiting from it and somebody can go and make these delicious biscuit and gravy, that's enough for me, y'all. Well, over and out. I appreciate y'all so much. Look, pray for yourselves. Look, pray for your family. Pray for us if you like. Pray for everyone in this world, because, look, everybody needs to know who Jesus Christ is. He is the way, the truth, and the life. And there's only one way to heaven, only one way to the Father, and that's through Him.